I think DPLUS making that much noise on Skyscraper, I think they've got what it takes here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop back out. Again, DPLUS win this next map. They're going right into stage 2. Sandbox win this one. We're doing map 3, and then we start the whole process again. Have fun. I'll be back after map 2.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Now we move into what could be the final map here, Mandy. I mean, I would be pretty disappointed if the grand finale of the South Korean League is an open and shut case for either team, but it looks like DPLUS might be able to get it done.
It certainly seems like it. One map up on the trot now and going into their attack. Let's hope they can at least find some success. Attacker bans immediately to go out are the Jackal and the Flores, both pretty impactful bans in my opinion. Jackal is really going to cut down on that roam clear potential for the attack, which of course, once again, DPLUS Kia are starting out on that, so they're going to face the adversities of having one less tool to deal with the roam of Sandbox. Not only that, but not having Flores will mean that clearing some of the shields is going to be made a little bit tricky, but thankfully his army's also been banned off the back of that too.
I'm wondering what we're going to see on Villa, whether it's going to be a similar story to Skyscraper in terms of the defensive prowess. We are seeing a lot of Mirror here, Mandy. We have seen occasionally Mirror picked on Villa, but she's not a mainstay, she's not a main ban. And I am somewhat surprised that both of these teams love Mirror as much as they do.
Well, maybe they know something that we don't now, right, Dev? Maybe, you know, Mirror always got banned out all the time. Forever.
Yeah.
Until Zami decided to come in and then be like, hello, I'm taking your ban spot now. I think that maybe we're going to see a resurgence of her, you know, now that you have so many other defender bans that are so much more important than banning out Mirror. It's certainly more viable to actually include her in your strategies, whereas beforehand you couldn't really write Mirror strategies upon the assumption that it would be banned, right? So maybe Sandbox knows something that we don't, and we might see a resurgence of Mirror.
I'd like to see it. Both these teams have definitely struggled to deal with it on their attack. And I love this Mirror here. This is a very old school one. Oh, and it looks like it's paired with somewhat of a closet hold here. This extension for Sandbox is very ambitious, but it seems like DPLUS are actually tempting for a D-rush on the study side. They have a lot of players shaped up here already. Maybe not a rush, but certainly a lot of pace.
Yeah, I think so. Perhaps not a rush, but more of a direct attack onto the bomb side as they immediately shape their hard breach around this study side of the map. Soldier's going to be able to drone his way in and is spotting out all of that utility that is on the top of the main stairs. That's Demic behind the shield just there. Nades are in the hand of Yas, though, who is on that study window, so with the right amount of flashbangs to clear out whatever ADSs might be there, that shield could certainly be taken down with quite easily.
This Nomad as well will make it a little bit easier for DPLUS to sleep soundly. Not too worried about the retake attempt here from Sandbox. But
nice nade.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared now for these Sandbox guys. Those anchors are feeling a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I'm scared for them as well. That nade not only took down the shield, but sunk a lot of HP out of Demic, who is now fallen back inside of that bar position. Coded as well is looking quite a lot of value out of this Twitch drone. I'm not sure if he was able to open up that mirror that was facing inside of the aviator position or not. But now DPLUS Kia are starting to shape that attack onto the main stairs, looking to get their way up and in towards that study control that they've now gotten for themselves with the wall open.
Oh,
ooh,
wow,
there we
that
go.
was a
nice long
one-tap.
line of sight too.
I think that
Really
was
nice.
a one-tap. All I heard was one bullet leave the chamber there for Harper. A big kill onto his longtime former teammate. And VTL of the Mirror going down. That's a C4 out of the game as well. Good drone work now from the Zafir to completely clear the main stairs. Wow, this is such a massive gaping hole in the defense now for Sandbox if DPLUS are ready to take it.
Keep in mind, those Sandbox are holding onto the entry points into the bomb site adjacent to the bomb site itself. So we just saw a player on landing is able to shut down that study entry as it comes through. Only 35 seconds left as well for DPLUS Kia to try and make their execute work.
But here comes Soldier sending it in through study. He's found a big pick now onto Demic. That's the smoke gone down. And now, with Arakaze locked out by their own Goyo's fire, it's going to be such a difficult retake for Sandbox. DPLUS have a massive post-plant position in this 4v2. Oh. Another one-tap for Harper! This guy is just on something else right now, as Good Boy desperately tries to find something in the 1v4. But he may well just fall on back again. They are going hunting for him. And they will find him. Couple things as well. Goyo, a Legion Mine in his foot. He doesn't mind. He can simply hide. A great opener there for DPLUS.
Yeah, that's not bad from Harper, is it? 2 for the montage on the Zofia. Wow, really nice from DPLUS here to look for that direct attack and actually find the path of least resistance against the defense that Sandbox brought. Like we said really early on, Sandbox went for an extension on the other side of the map. They tried to counter a sweep push from DPLUS Kia, but DPLUS Kia didn't do that. They went for a direct attack, and as a result, all the ADSs were on the wrong side of the map, and that main stair shield went down super easy, just one nade. And they found their win condition by putting Yas on that 90 repel. It really opened up the opportunity for them to come up the main stairs and make their way into bar and get the plant down.
We really didn't see attacks like that at all on Skyscraper, did we? Like, it was such a very focused attack. Like, clear top main, you know, breach the wall, and then go and plant.
I think the thing is, that might be kind of the nature of that Aviator and Games bomb site, right? Like, I feel like doing a direct attack is quite a well-drilled concept now on Villa. Like, this map has been in the pool for quite a while, and so I think that for DPLUS Kia, they knew exactly where they needed to sink their utility. Whereas I think for Skyscraper, when you want to get control interior on that map, you kind of want to play direct. People are still trying to get like below control. They're still trying to like do other things, if that makes sense, right? People are still trying to figure out what the conditions are for like direct attacks on Skyscraper because it's a bit newer in the pool. So I think for Villa, it's just a bit more well drilled and makes more sense.
This is home turf for DPLUS as well, right? This is their map pick after all. Arakaze reveals his position down below by shooting off these X-Kairos, which would otherwise be cutting rotations by enabling that long line of sight into Pantry. He's actually managed to do it again. So DPLUS are very aware of his position, but what are they going to be able to do about it? I think he's just going to retreat. Don't overstay as well, can continue scanning for information.
Really nice as well from Sandbox. They've identified that, in fact, DPLUS Kia are looking for another direct take onto the bomb site. They have the Blitz in hand, and while the Blitz was pretty lethal in the last map for Woogieman, they've identified one player on that triple wall and only one, so if they really want to make their flood into the bomb site work, now actually might be a good opportunistic moment to make it happen.
There's always the potential for vertical C4s in the late game.
Oh, that's exactly right, yeah.
And Good Boy actually has impacts as well. He's down below waiting for the jump in from Yas, but he's actually taken down. Yas drops down below and takes him down. And this pre-placed drone from Woogie has netted him so much information. Harper as well. And in here comes the push, the Finker to Adrenal Surge. The support is there. Envy Taylor trying to hold on. Soldiers found his. And Woogieman is going deep, but Arakaze there to deny the plant. Suddenly the push has fallen flat for DPLUS. And there's a chance here to recompose. Woogie's been picked back up, taken down again though. Bit of ring around the rosy now as DPLUS look to try and recompose, pick up that diffuser. It's now in Yas's pocket. He's looking for a chance to try and set it on down. They don't know that Mephi has been injured. They're worried he's still at large. The nade may finish him off. Actually still hasn't, so a lack of information as Arakaze has managed to make his way back upstairs. Now a 2v2. Harper had a huge previous round, but he's going to have a bigger one here, Mandy. It's a 1v1. And Arakaze has all the time in the world to bait this out. He is the pulse after all. And he could continue to scan for information. Info aplenty. As well as that Aruni gate is re-enabled here for Harper to try and lend him a little bit more information. Arakaze now forced up. As Harper baits off the plant, begins it again. Arakaze seems to know exactly where he is and continues to bait him off. Harper desperate now. He's going to have to go for the kill, and he finds it! This man has just been on something else these last 2 rounds, and he is unstoppable here.
Yeah, and he uses as few bullets as possible, apparently. Every single one of his engagements, just small bursts. I find that kill. It's so satisfying to watch Harper move into this DPLUS Kia roster and find so much success on this entry role on the Zofia. Once again, DPLUS Kia looking for that direct attack onto the trophy and statuary bomb site found, well, mixed success in doing it. This time the trade game was a lot stronger on the side of Sandbox, but really it was all on Harper in that 1v1, played to perfection, baiting out the diffuser and eventually looking for that kill.
Wow, Mandy, what a showing from Harper. This is a real return to form This guy was always your support, your flex player for Sandbox back in the day. Spent 2 years with that roster. And now he's just something else, right? Like, this is entry Harper. This is what perhaps couldn't have been unlocked on his former team in the shadow of other players like Shyle back in the day, like Good Boy even. Now he's really found his mojo. That's a huge start now for DPLUS, Mandy. That is 2 attacks on Villa just to kick off the map. They're really setting a precedent here, and I'm getting terrified for Sandbox.
It's really cool to see him do it against his former team as well, right? Like, way to rub salt in the wound if you are Sandbox right now, for sure, right? Like, you've just gone and you've watched your previous support player absolutely pop off 2 rounds in a row. That's... Oh man, that must feel so good for Harper. I feel like when you play against your former team, I don't know if there are any players out there that can relate to this, but I feel like when you play against your former team and your friends, you get fuel to beat them. You know, you're like, I know these people. I know what they're gonna do. It's the friendly rivalry, you know. Where
you get the satisfaction when you think you have a read on them, right? Because you're mates.
Yeah. It's good fun. Yeah. It's very much enjoyable for us to watch. Woogieman, though, is going to use the Blitz to sweep across the map. So DPLUS Kia flexing the strap book a little bit and going for a completely different attack onto the same bomb side, which is, of course, Aviator and Games. Identifying that there are, in fact, some roamers down below. Something to keep in mind is that is Arakaje, who is a C4 in hand. So once DPLUS Kia hit this choke point inside of 90, they will need to be careful on their feet. Otherwise, they may be C4'd. Actually, double C4s, in fact, both playing underneath them.
C4 prepped as well for Good Boy. These C4s onto the window ledges can be really dangerous for repelling players, and it works perfectly here. Now the Blitz has done damage once again, and DPLUS have found 2 kills with Woogie. This is huge now. Demic, though, takes Woogieman very low. DPLUS in a spot of bother, but they do have the man advantage now to recompose.
Yeah, and C4 from Arakaje didn't quite sync, I believe, and so most of the DPLUS Kia players have gotten in through the soft part of the floor to safety. Shotgun around the corner for Good Boy, though. That's him on the Warden, so will be unaffected by any flashbangs, although there is only the Blitz to have to deal with. Perfect operator, of course, as the push might come through.
And of course I'm going to be looking at Harper, right? He's the one that has been stepping up so much for DPLUS. I feel like Woogieman really is, he's got a timer on him right now. His life is basically forfeit. He knows 1 bullet will take him down. Even to the leg would be detrimental. A nade almost finishes him off, this guy. But Yas has a great vertical nade there onto Good Boy. And the window is open.
Really fantastic sync there from Yas, and it's going to enable Woogie to make his way in, but not before being taken down by Demic. Now only 20 seconds and Diffuser cold on the ground.
No C4 available though for Arakaze, and who else but Harper to once again show up against his former team. He's the man to cover. Arakaze spots out the Diffuser, but Harper has retaken study. And once again has a stellar round for DPLUS. 3 in a row. And Sandbox have got to be sweating right now.
DPLUS Kia are doing a really fantastic job at keeping their attacks unpredictable to Sandbox. Every single time that Sandbox have tried to adapt to the DPLUS Kia attack, all of their attempts have been to no avail, right? They always bring along something, look for an extension, look to play closer, but whatever they do, DPLUS Kia always seem to manage to find the path of least resistance, and they take it. And I think it's really showing their prowess on this map. It's showing that they have a really good read on how to play the map from a macro standpoint. And Sandbox just aren't keeping up with the decision-making.
Wow, I really certainly did not expect this, Mandy. This is the last thing I expected out of this game, right? A 6-1 advantage on the first map for DPLUS, and now a 3-0 start on map 2. This really has been quite an open and shut case, and if it wasn't for Sandbox's almost comeback on the first map, the scoreline would look incredibly grim. And even despite it, I feel like the scoreline does look very worrying for Sandbox. So these guys have had such a pedigree, have had such a legacy within the Korean region. And while DPLUS had their flash in the pan, it did feel like it was short-lived. It did feel like perhaps Sandbox were on the way to reclaiming that crown once again. And with the stakes behind this game, they just can't deliver.
Unfortunately for Sandbox, their formula, the brand that they're bringing to Rainbow Six Siege is not working against the adaptability of the DPLUS Kia lineup. And like we said beforehand, on Skyscraper, they weren't afraid to try new things, and it's happening once again on Villa.
Oh my
Wookieeman
God.
using the Nook to inject himself straight into the building, but not before being traded up by Demic. We saw in the attack that there were 5 re-picked operators, and in fact, it's all dedicated to this direct clear all the way in the top floor. Harper, course, with the sledge in hand, will want to make use of that top floor to open up the ceiling below and flush out all the anchors on the side.
And this is absolutely worth it on the roam clear here for DPLUS. Might have lost Woogie, but Harper managed to trade back the trade. So, huge advantage now for DPLUS, and they have the map control to boot, as you said. The sledge can get to work once the flank drones are set up. Yas as well on the Brava could hack some of these Valkyrie cameras, even the Aruni gates. Not sure where he sent his drones so far. Are there any players remaining from the defense on the top floor? I don't see anybody.
Nope.
This is free real estate.
They cleared that so damn quick. They really did. And Harper can make full use of that top floor all to himself. Meanwhile, we have the Thatcher and the Ace in tandem together to open up that laundry wall and start to mount this direct execute onto the bomb site.
Just looking for Valkyrie cameras for now, watching for aggression. Envy Taylor is so far away from the rest of his team. He's banking on a cheeky kill, a free kill, but DPLUS just have so much information and so much advantage here as the breach begins to come on through. Harper's relocated, so DPLUS are not taking vertical control. This could be a little bit scary, Mandy.
Here we go though, Yas looking for a lurk on the adjacent side of the map, might be able to catch the player out from inside of living. Still just holding on to this basement flank just in case there are any lurkers down there, but they seem pretty aware where Envy is. Looking for the execute now, utility starting to flood through onto that music box position. Mephi getting aggressive on the breach, could be in a world of pain any moment now.
It's actually Arakazo over aggresses. If he does find one, but Yas is likely to trade him. I think he was spotted, however. MV Taylor coming back for this flank. He is heard, and he is taken down. The last one. The sandbox doesn't last any longer at all. DPLUS are unstoppable on their attacking side.
Really nice lurk from Yas to be able to pinch out the remaining defenders of Sandbox. That early top floor control really forced all the rest of Sandbox players to stay within that ground floor, and they were too afraid to go for the retake, and Yas fully capitalized on that. All players on the ground floor as he came in from the side, able to take them all down in his own engagements, and DPLUS Kia going up 4-0.
Unreal. And the stakes couldn't be higher right now. First place in the Korean League. 46 million Korean won, which is about 36,000 US dollars. Second place is down to 33 million won, which is about 25,000 US dollars. Also, difference in SI points might not be huge, 150 to 130, but remember that you immediately jump into the top 16 if you win this game for the major. You immediately go to that stage 2, and that gives you 75 SI points as opposed to 35 if you bail out in last place during that tournament. So there is so much on the line here. And I'm bewildered. I'm astounded that Sandbox cannot keep pace. They can't even trade blows. They can barely get themselves in the server. They can barely muster around. This has been DPLUS's map all day long.
Off the back of that tactical timeout though, I am expecting Sandbox to come up with a more coherent plan. And I think the concept that they're going for with this defense is quite sparsely different to what we saw beforehand. They're going for 5 anchor operators, essentially, right? You've got the mirror, that's in tandem with the Goyo. It's going to make it very hard to get your way into the bomb site. Not only that, but you have the smoke babes as well to smoke to construct the bomb site, and then of course stall it out as they go for the late round execute. Cade is going to keep the walls closed, and of course Jaeger is always good on a defense like this. So I think for Sandbox, they're going to be leaning into a much more anchor-centric hold here, rather than spreading themselves thin on the map. And I think this is the play against DPLUS Kia, right? No matter what you do against DPLUS Kia, they're going to do their thing, right? You're going to let the attack set the tempo. Whereas if you have all 5 players on the defense at least commit themselves to one idea, you're not going to be as spread out. I might have lied. They might actually just be going for this extension again. Look, if they fall off from this extension faster, and actually play everything they have on the site, I think it's going to be better. Because once again, DPLUS Kia are looking for the exact same direct setup, and the Switch is getting so much value really early on.
Yeah, it's already a mirror pop. That's already 90 cam down. So much information. and power positions nullified now. It does seem to be a direct attack, as you said. The EMP and the Selma comes out to once again open up that site.
Sandbox need to
Blitz is
call it
lying
here.
in wait.
Yeah, Sandbox at this point need a call. Okay, guys, it's direct attack, and they need to start reverting the utility back towards the bomb site. We've actually got 2 defenders already relocating here, but still
so
3 of
many.
them on the other side of the map. It's like, it just feels like Sandbox just still can't keep pace with what DPLUS Key are trying to do.
They really need to have this read, and they need to have it ASAP. The Jaeger's now spotted. I think Coda's going to get his drone away. No, he's not, but still, that's plenty of value. Harper now on rappel, a narrow angle. Looking deep into sight, waiting for some counter-aggression. Sandbox don't need to overpeak here. They just need to find some stronger positions. And one of the roamers is again spotted.
Arakaje with the C4 in hand might be able to shut down the push as it comes through from DPLUS Kia towards the study side. The next point of contest that DPLUS Kia will have to deal with is that mirror window that is facing inside of Aviator. So executing in from study through to Aviator is going to be quite a tricky route to take. Not only that, but they've only got 2 more Selma charges for the range hard breach.
Smoke comes out, but what is it to cover? A line of sight, perhaps there's no entry. Good Boy feeling a lot of pressure. The rest of the team really needs to support. Wookie Man's made his way in to the top of the stairs, and Demic is looking to challenge as the smoke. He still has 1 gas babe left in pocket, as Wookie Man is kept at bay by his previous one. Coded is watching the flank to see if Arakaje decides to come up, but nothing as of yet.
DPLUS Kia managing to get that top floor control, but it's about converting the push into the execute now, and still 5 Sandbox players live means they're going to run into the crosshairs, into the crossfires, and into the smoke bay. The final one now tossed out for Demic.
There's a C4 pre-placed. I don't know if the call is there. It is! And the down and the finish comes out for D+. Sandbox finally have recomposed, but Yas has found a double. Where has he gone and done it? He's top landing now, and Soldier now looking to push in from study. Yas kept at bay by the flames, and he may well just have to send it through it. Soldier in a spot of bother, and Demic has landed a great shot with the SMG-11. A second to boot. It's all up to Harper outside on the balcony, but the timer is his enemy. Sandbox finally break through this brick wall that has been the onslaught from D+. They finally have a round.
So Sandbox did eventually fall off that roam in its entirety and were able to come back to the bomb site. All they needed to do was leave Arakaje down below and play that C4 to perfection as we saw the execute come through. So Sandbox starting to get a read on D+ Kia attacks a little bit quicker. It did take a little bit of time through that mid round. Of course, the danger in rotating is that you don't want to rotate off too early, right? Like say you call the push as an anchor on the site. Your roamers off-site are probably thinking, oh, hang on a second, we're actually going to stay around and look for a lurk a little bit longer. So Sandbox, I think, actually made some really great timing to fall back onto the site at the right time. That by the time that D+ Kia did actually go for the execute, all 5 were at least there, and they were ready to play the crossfires without giving away too much more of the map. Now they're going to go over to Trophy and Statuary after successfully winning that bomb site, but are going to have to find some repeated success to at least find one more round.
I just don't see it as likely, Mandy. It seems really difficult here. If you look at the Operator's band, it's not like this is slated to be a heavily attacker-sided game. If you look at Villa holistically, it's not like it's a particularly attack-favored map. In fact, it's been played 5 times so far in South Korea, and it's a 69% defense favor. So very, very highly defense favored. We haven't at all seen that replicated here. I just think D+ have made so much headway on their attack that it feels almost inevitable for them to be on track to take this game.
I'm going to give Sandbox a little bit of credit here. I feel like that last round was signs of greatness, you know? I think that they all got back on the same page through the mid to late round, and honestly, I feel like that big macro decision-making is actually what closed out the round for them. They knew that there was a rush, not a rush, but a direct push coming, and they actually all came back to deal with it, whereas I feel like in the previous rounds there was a lot more disconnect. I think we're seeing the same thing in this round too, right? We have a lot of stuff that's facing a direct push. There's a shield facing inside of bricks, and there's also the triple wall open, so hopping in through walk-in, very tricky. And once again, D+ Kia are going for that direct attack, so they are going to have to face all that setup as looking at them.
Well, they've taken down the brick shield, which is a good start. A spam of flashes to burn through Dormai's magnets. And then the Golden 6-2 deliver. It's a good start. It's a good step 1. There's a lot more steps to deal with. No map control contested at all here for D+. It is, once again, a very one-dimensional push.
DPLUS sounds like a very fancy way of saying their name.
DPLUS. Yes, I am now
I like it.
French. I am Matt.
Alright, here we go.
Support DPLUS.
Alright, here we go. Direct attack is starting to amount for DPLUS Kia, but the hop-in from Coded has been spotted. A Lion Scan to ring out will enable the push to come in through towards Astro, and Yas can at least start to clean up Good Boy.
Yeah, and Woogieman's baited out the C4 as well. Opening kill, Mephi's gone down, and Demic, where are you looking? Woogieman has once again sent it straight on in, and he's found the site. MV Taylor now in a 1 versus 5, and I think they know exactly where he is. There's no way that he can muster a clutch here, surely not. There's a player watching from his window who spots him first. The call has been given, the drone has been spotted, and the cutoff from Soldier leads to a flawless attack from DPLUS. They are 2 rounds away from becoming champions of Korea once again.
And yet another fantastic explosive execute from DPLUS Kia direct onto the bomb site. Well timed off the back of a Lion Scan, flashes to come through, and of course, all led by the hands of Woogieman on the Blitz, who's really been the telltale of this entire series. And they'll net DPLUS Kia yet another attack win, putting them 5-1 on the scoreline. This feels like a similar position that we were into last map.
It does, but I don't even know if Sandbox is going to be able to make a comeback on their attack like they did in the first map on their defense. I'm scared here, Mandy, for Sandbox. DPLUS with that Finker Blitz combo, they have just been indomitable. They've played it 4 rounds so far, Mandy. Twice this map, twice the first map. Every single round they have won. Every single time.
It really is the nail in the coffin for Sandbox. It's like their kryptonite, isn't it? They see the Blitz, they're like, not good. At this point, would you just be like running Warden every single round? Anyway, sorry. They're on their attack now. It doesn't matter anyway. It's
okay. Not even that. Yeah. True. Just stop thinking about it, right? Move on to the next. And they need to have some amazing attacks here. DPLUS, though, what a showing this has been for them. They brought some unique strategy. They brought some real fire that we haven't seen from them in quite some time. 2022 was a very difficult year to be part of this team. It was just going from struggles to struggles. They struggled to even win out any championships in the latter half of the year. The last time that they were Korean champions was all the way back start of the year in Korea Open Spring with their 3-0 against the T1 roster, which eventually became Spear. Now they're looking on track to once again raise a trophy.
Yeah, and DPLUS Kia, the entire attack off really set the pace. They absolutely set the tempo that Sandbox had to keep track with and that they had to match. And that energy just was not matched at all when they were on their defending half, right? Now Sandbox are going into their attacking half, and they're going to sneak their way into the map first with Mephi on the Nook. Live droning him in is Demic. Not only that, but there's Good Boy as well, who's entered his way in from Art, and they can both start to play those vertical grenades.
Worried about the flank, though. Worried about a response. Ooh, Woogieman might actually have a bit of info here. That's great. Calling out as a player, and in tandem with the explosion, DPLUS will be fully aware of what's going on, but Good Boy's actually tempted to make his way up main. He meets Soldier, who's good for the double. Oh, it is devastating now. Soldier's found 3 kills here on the main stairs. DPLUS are sitting pretty as Soldier lurks among the fire. Arakaze and Envy Taylor try and find something back for their side, but it's just tumultuous task ahead of them.
Soldier was one with the stairs there. He was prone exactly parallel to it. I reckon Good Boy started walking up the stairs and was like, I think that's another stair. Oh no, it moved. That's terrifying.
It was
there we
just
go.
hiding.
3 in the hands for Soldier. And now Sandbox have got to try and clean up the pieces, but 2-on-4 seems like a pretty unlikely scenario with only 50 seconds left to go as well. And although Envy does have 2 smokes in hands, there's not a lot that he can do with them.
It's a big ask. Arakaze is at least going to try and breach some lines of sight. He can use prone, cut off a lot of deep positions inside, but Soldier is just hiding behind that reinforced wall and behind the bar. It's going to be difficult to take him down, especially with that shotgun. Vitel's looking for a drone. Arakaze picking around the corner. He might have the angle he needs onto Soldier, but it's so difficult. He's got this tiny little spot to hide in the corner. What are DPLUS going to be able to do
the later half of this round, they can just hold on. And Sandbox once again fall into the meat grinder. DPLUS hold their crossfires and hold out a simple end round to find themselves on not only the map point, Mandy, but what seems out of nowhere, they found themselves on the championship point.
Really nice discipline from DPLUS here off the back of the 3K from Soldier to be able to clean up that round to go 6-1 now. Match point, series point for DPLUS here as they move on to their next defender bomb site. I think that's going to be Dining and Kitchen. They are looking pretty poised to take this one, Dev. It just doesn't feel like Sandbox have an in whatsoever.
It's been a long road for this DPLUS roster. Time and time again coming into the Korea Open, time and time again coming into APAC North with such high expectations. Every time they visited an international event, the hype was there, and they struggled to deliver it all last year. So much so that neither of these teams managed to qualify for the Six Invitational. There was not a Korean team in sight at that event. And now, for the title of Korean champions in this new Blast Rainbow Six program, for the very first time, could well be DPLUS here, not only taking it, but taking it with such a definitive scoreline that nobody can question who the best team remains from this region.
And what a story for Yas as well, right? This guy has been through the thick and thin of DPLUS Kia. He's been through every era of it, whether it was them at their most dominant, them being in the semi-final and almost taking down FaZe Clan at the Sweden Major all those years ago. Sticking with it and now being on this roster to send them to Copenhagen. The IGL and the captain and really the forefront, the bread and butter of this roster, and I think that of a player of such caliber and such experience, he absolutely deserves to be back on the international stage.
It was almost exactly 1 year ago that Dam1 Gaming won the Spring Korea Open in 2022, and it was the last championship that this team raised. Sandbox then won it in Stage 2, and Talon won it in Stage 3. It looks like the cycle may begin again with the DPLUS domination here, as they can swiftly and quite easily deal with the Selmas on this wall. Yas back on track for another Korean victory.
Sandbox looking to slice the bomb site in half by opening up that pantry wall successfully, although it took a bit of an expensive clear to do so. All three Selma charges were used on that single wall. Now they are mounting their push onto the top floor, but it's Boogeyman, not just for one, but for two. Shutting down the top floor clear, but not before being cut off by Arakaje.
And now DPLUS can just go into consolation mode. They can just hold on in the 4v3. They have an advantage. They have so much map control available. They can just peel it back, get a little bit less ambitious. 6 drones now for for Sandbox to work with. The main count is well and truly against them. There's so much information still for DPLUS. We got Valkyrie, we got Pulse, even the Goo Mines. Sandbox at least have some drones in sight, but what are they going to be able to do with them?
I mean, everywhere that Sandbox go, there's going to be danger. Even if they want to do this vertical control with the whatever Ash has got on her pocket breaching charges, that's what they're called. There's going to be that info from Soldier and the two C4s as well. I think there's one pre-placed from Harper already, and Soldier's still got one in his hands. It's just danger. Every single path that Sandbox could possibly take.
Oh, Harper! What a C4! And now Sandbox are staring down the barrel of a 7-1 against them. It almost happened on map 1 before they pulled it back, but I don't think they've got the same thing left in the tank here. Coded on site, looking to hold down the line. Soldier is the one to claim it. It's all up to NV Taylor to save it for his team. But after a year of devastation, DPLUS surge up again with domination. They are the Korean champions here for Stage 1 in the South Korea League.
And what a deserving win for them as well. A really scary attack half as well, led into the cleanest defense that we could have possibly seen from them. What a dominant scoreline, 7-1 for the champions, and they'll be representing us at